Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a really fun modification video to share with you guys. What we have here, of course, is the Microtech Ramlock Stitch. This is one of my favorite EDC knives to carry, not because it's like, overly beneficial in terms of carry and utility. I just really like it. I love the ergonomic lines. The Stitch has always been, super, just very interesting to me for its unique aesthetic. And for the longest time, the only way that we could get a reasonably priced Stitch was to buy the auto from Microtech, and everybody said, you got to do the manual, and they did. They did the Ramlock one. Their scales that you can get with these are pretty good. I can't fault Microtech, but thanks to Original Goat, we finally have some custom scales here. And I've actually got two sets that I'm going to share with you guys. One is going to be installed. I can't wait. Check out Original Goat scales down in the description. They are made in the USA, and they're awesome. I showcase them a lot, and they're just really, really good. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So I have two sets. This is the first one I want to show you guys. And I don't think these are going to be for everybody, but they sent me them to kind of showcase and let you know that they exist. This is some sort of special black polymer that they're doing. Now, I don't know the benefits of this stuff. I don't know if it's like stronger than the standard injection mold plastic or the, the FRN scales that we see. And I bet Original Goat will elaborate. But they said it's some new material that they're working with, and it is black all the way through. So if you drop it or mark it up, it's not going to leave like a weird color underneath or anything like that. They are interesting. They are fairly pricey for being, some sort of polymer, right? But they're interesting and they do look good. Ryan, I'll just give you kind of an example of what they would look like if we laid them on top. It does look good, and it'll definitely lighten up your Stitch, even, like versus like the G10 ones that are lighter than the aluminum. But yeah, I thought I'd showcase these. Nice, they've got the bald spot. But really the ones that I want to share with you guys are these beautiful gunstock aluminum scales. Now, what we have on here are the stock aluminum scales, and I picked up the aluminum Stitch on purpose because I wanted that full heft, right? It's awkward and heavy, and that's okay with me because I like that. And at some point, we'll attach titanium scales to this when Original Goat makes them. Without further ado, let's get these scales installed with hyperlapse. Okay, wow. Yeah, these look amazing. I've got a couple of things. I'm sure you guys were watching that. The beauty of the hyperlapse is it does not demonstrate the intensity of the frustrations. Now, the truth be told, these are not difficult to take apart. If you don't do things in order, like me, it makes it a little more difficult. Number one, you're going to need a T20 for the pivot, and you're going to need a T8 for the body screws. Not all the body screws are the same thickness of thread, like the thread body is thicker on some of these screws down here. So just be aware of that. You can't just like take all the screws out and like throw them in a pile and try to put the screws back in whatever order you want. There are thicker body ones like down here, right? But these up here, the same, like, so just down here thicker, down up here are the thinner ones. Also, these do not delete the liners, so you need to make sure that the liners are on the housing for the Ramlock before you put the scales on. I didn't do that in order there either. Also, it's not a free spinning pivot. It's not like two heads going into like a bushing pivot. It's not like that. One of these is the female end of the pivot. and it's slightly D-shaped on one side of the liner. So it will pop out. If it's not popping out, give it a slight turn. It just means like there's too much torque on it. It's kind of pushing into that D. You just sort of turn it back and then it'll pop out. And then you have to slightly line it up while you're pulling down on the ram lock. Might be a good idea to tape off the blade, and then you can push it back through. Had I just prepared better or just remembered my experience with the MSI, then I would have known that. But you also have to make sure that this little barrel here is staying fitted into its D-shaped slots. And by the way, anything that can have a D-shaped slot does. That keeps everything from free spinning. So that works to your advantage when you're putting the screws in. But it's a little bit of a disadvantage because they have to be exactly in there. And if anything moves and they pop back out, so you have to like take the thing and just set it in there and make sure that it's within that D-shaped barrel. So yeah, but once you do all that, it's actually pretty straightforward, and everything came back together and lined up perfectly, and there's absolutely no blade play whatsoever. But these are fantastic, and it gives it that really cool all metal textured look that I've always dreamed of. The last part of this for me to make this knife like truly complete is for these scales to be titanium. And what advantage do you have with titanium over aluminum? Not really anything. They're more expensive. It gives it a little more heft, and it makes you feel like the knife is a little more premium. And I know that Original Goat does such an amazing job with titanium, but this will be an excellent placeholder until they finish those titanium scales, which truthfully, it will get its own video. But I'm going to have them texture them the exact same way, so it's hardly going to look any different. But this is awesome. I am immediately going to throw this thing in my pocket and add it to my rotation again because I just love the look. And the texturing is so good. Aggressive enough to add meaningful traction. Absolutely. Like there's definitely meaningful traction there. But it's not going to fray up your pants because we have the bald spot here. Another thing that I like about these scales, I know some people are going to be upset that they don't delete the liners. I don't really care that much, but they do delete the filler tab. So if you don't like that, I mean, you can request to have them mill out the spot for the pocket clip on either side, and then it deletes the filler tab. So you lose the filler tab aesthetic, which would have made this look a little bit less cool. And then you also don't have as many screws, right? Because the screws aren't there to attach the filler tab. So that's pretty cool. These are definitely beautifully machined. I mean, the precision of the machining is amazing, and they are contoured and just absolutely amazing scales. Once again, Original Goat, proving to be really, I think, one of the best when it comes to aftermarket scales for some of our favorite knives. This is really, really awesome. And the new weight, I can't remember what the old weight was, but given that these are aluminum, and I think slightly less overall material, it weighs 6.5 ounces. I think that's, what was it, 6.4? 6.5 ounces. So it's probably pretty darn close to what the originals were. Obviously, when they do finally do the titanium scales, which I know a lot of people are waiting on, it'll weigh more, which is fine with me, because the whole thing's already awkward to carry anyway. But yeah, I mean, everything works great. The lock, right? You've seen my tests with mine. My ram lock does not have issues. I think some early ram locks had lockup issues. None of my ram locks have ever had issues. I've tested this exact knife multiple times on camera, and even with the installation of the new scales, it's just fine. Really, truly spectacular. I love the look. Just awesome stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this modification video. I've got links for Original Goat stuff down in the description, but they are a small company and they're doing all of this stuff in-house. So I think a lot of people expect them to have like an unlimited supply of this stuff, but these take time to make. So your favorite thing might not be in stock in this moment, and it might be that you have to wait just a little bit for it, but you should definitely check out Original Goat scales and see if there's anything that catches your eye. I'll link it down in the description. Thanks again to Original Goat. Thanks to everybody for watching. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.